It is Thursday, and I got my guy Big O on the channel to talk some Miami Dolphin football. And I got a haircut. What is up, Finn fans? Another week, another episode with the Big O Show. This is a good one. We talk about the 49ers game, talk about the Chargers game, talk about the state of the team, next 5 games, playoffs. There's a lot to talk about. But one thing I want to talk about before we jump into the video is there's a player, right? Now, I'm one to say, to me, Pro Bowl is kind of like a popularity contest. Prime example, right? Mac Jones made to the Pro Bowl. Mac Jones was at 85 on the top 100. Everyone was, blowing smoke up that man's booty. And we saw how he's been playing, right? Not too great. But there's a player right now that is leading even Justin Jefferson, leading Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, leading Tyreek Hill in votes for the Pro Bowl. You might be asking yourself, who the flip is that, Doug? It's Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa has a little under 1,000 more votes than Justin Jefferson for Pro Bowl. Top 5 vote getters. Tua is up there. Now, I know that the Pro Bowl isn't all about fan votes. There's some aspects, certain percentage that goes into other things. But, don't get me wrong, I'm ecstatic by this, and I'm ecstatic that Tyreek Hill is also number 4 on that list. It makes me incredibly happy. Dolphins are really going in the right direction. To me, though, it's all pro. Once you make that all pro list, that's when I'm like, you did something really well. Like Jason Sanders was all pro 2020. And then he just, but he's been doing well so far. So we'll just leave it at me saying that. But I just want to let you guys know. Tua is a top Pro Bowl voter. Votee, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. But let's jump into what me and Big O talked about today. Well, yesterday. Recorded yesterday, is coming out today for you guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow, previewing the Dolphins taking on the Chargers. You'll hear me and Big O talk about it a lot. This is a must-win game. And I will even talk about it tomorrow. The change of playoff chances versus a win versus a loss on this Sunday night is huge. So, must win. Absolutely must win game. Well, that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. Offense up. What is up, Big O? Unfortunately, we're a little off on Sunday, but how are you feeling? Are you feeling down about this one, or are you feeling good?
No, actually, I felt pretty good after the match, after the game, because for me it was all Tua, and I saw your video, and you were, pointing out stuff and all that about him throwing around, and worried about Boza, and by the way, when you play Lawrence Taylor or Jason Taylor or Boza, or you're always going to be aware of all those things if you're a quarterback, because that's your job. And especially when you've been crushed with your hip and ankles and concussions and all of that, you definitely have to be aware of where you're at. There were a couple times where he had to scramble, and he's kind of like, well, I've got a lot of time here. Wait a minute, and so he had to make a decision. And to me, what I saw in Tua was something that I had not seen yet, and that was he was just off. He had a bad day. And I've talked about it on my show that I watched Marino get benched several times. Okay. Yes, I'm old enough to have seen Marino get benched. There were times where Shula just looked at him and said, dude, you don't have it. You're forcing it, whatever. And if you look at the tape, which you went over it, the throws, it's not like there's somebody right about to tackle him. The throws to the receivers, they're open. It's not like somebody's draped on him. And the one time that he had somebody close to him was the Gesicki play. And where did he put it? Right here. Which, if you put it here, the defender gets his arm in.
Yeah.
If you put it here, out front for him, defender never gets to the ball, which is normally what he does. Ball placement.
Yeah.
And it's first down. Exactly. Dude, he played like shit. And there was a 6-point game with a couple minutes left. So to me, it was all on Tua.
Yeah.
He was just off, bro.
Mhm.
I mean, Tyreek is wide open, and you throw it so wide to the left that it gets obviously tipped and intercepted. And so I just chalked it up to him having a bad game. If he does this for a couple of games straight, then I've got a concern.
Yeah.
But to me, you're not facing a better defense this week.
Mhm.
You're facing a lesser defense.
Much lesser,
I
yeah.
think the kid was just pressing that he wanted to win that game so badly
Mhm.
for Mike McDaniel, who has had his back, that I think he was either pressing or whatever it is. But I'm just going to chalk it up to a bad day for him, which, by the way, in turn, made me feel really good about the Chargers this week.
Yeah.
One, I think he's going to come back on fire. He's going to
Mm.
be
I'm
motivated.
sure he does.
And
Yeah.
two, they're not facing the kind of pass rush that the Niners can bring, or the defense that the Niners can bring. And yet McDaniel schemed it perfectly, dude. They were there. The plays were there to be made. Miami just didn't make them. So I don't blame anybody but Tua in the passing game this week.
Yeah, 100%. And like I showed in the film breakdown, he missed some, but then there was, I think it was like the first drive they got the ball in the third quarter. He had a guy on him, steps up, and he just laser beamed to Tyreek Hill on it. Like it was like you could tell that there's something, like you said, there was something with him. But Chris Sims, right? We all know Chris Sims. He's the biggest, naysayer for Tua and the Dolphins,
Right.
everything. He came out and tweeted today. He said, on paper, it might have looked like 49ers shut down the Dolphins, though. Definitely not the case. Walked away thinking better of the Dolphins than I had before. Mike McDaniel had guys wide open all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Haven't seen
Well,
the
he actually got something right. Holy shit.
Oh, wait.
Wow, he got something right.
I got
Okay.
more for you. This is going to blow your socks off. Haven't seen the San Francisco defense exposed like that in a long time. It wasn't pressure. Niners didn't get into his face a ton with the normal flow of the game. He just missed a lot of throws that he's been hitting all year. If that's played again, Dolphins would feel good about the rematch, I bet. Chris Sims with a W here. Like, what? Did someone hack his account and actually say something?
I don't know,
like,
but I don't know what he's drinking. I don't know what happened. Maybe he's high as hell. I don't know what's going on, but he got it right. That's exactly what I said in the postgame show.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I told everybody. I told them at halftime. I said at halftime. I tweeted out, the plays are there.
Yeah.
It's not the defense. Dude, the
No.
Boa sacks. The Boza sacks. The one up the middle, all by himself, nobody blocked. Nothing special that Boza did. It was schemed perfectly.
No.
Then we decide to block him with two running backs. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what? A lineman, a tight end, and a back. Okay. Two backs. Bam, bam. And then he gets in there. And then he had the last one that ended up with the turnover, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't really pressure sacks that he was like, oh my God. They were perfectly situated that he just had success off of those. But it wasn't like Tua was getting all flustered and pressured and all that. He was just off, man. They were there. He threw for 300 yards in a terrible game. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen.
2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Like, that's
and only two quarterbacks have thrown over 250 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Niners. Mahomes and Tua.
And that second touchdown to Tyreek Hill was beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
Looked off the safety and then hit him in stride. Like, it was there's nothing. It's a bad game.
That's why I'm telling you I feel great about this week.
Right? Like,
and plays like that again.
In my recap, I even gave games this year where Josh Allen against the New York Jets, 160, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but no one's, freaking. Joe Burrow, week 1, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions against the Steelers. No one's making a bad games happen, people. You know what happens? You show you're a good quarterback by bouncing back.
Yeah, dude.
And
That's it. And I expect him to bounce back. I expect him to be laser focused and pissed off. And I think you're going to get a Tua. It's going to be dealing this week. And I think Mike McDaniel's going to work him all week long. Like, yo, you see, this isn't you. This is you.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't you. This is you. Relax. Take it easy. Just play the game and be who you've been. And in
Have
that
fun.
game, you can tell, dude. I'm telling you, I just feel like he'll never admit it. Maybe he'll admit it 15 years from now when he's writing a book or something. He wanted that game badly for Mike McDaniel, and he just, for whatever reason, dude, it just amped him up so much that he just wasn't on. And it happens, man. It
Supposedly, a lot
happens.
of people think that
If this happens for a couple more games,
oh yeah, then there's something. Yeah,
then I have a concern. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But for now, aberration.
So some people think it's that stadium, Levi Stadium, because when he was in Alabama, he didn't do well in that stadium either.
I mean, that to me, whatever, bro. I mean, the Bengals, Joe Burrow's 0-4 against the Browns. There's just shit you can't explain. He owns the Chiefs,
Yeah,
but the Browns own him.
yep.
Is it really the Browns, or it's just, I don't know, dude. It just happens in this game that the guy just, I don't know, things don't go their way, and then all of a sudden, here's the Browns playing over their heads and playing out.
Shutting them
Sometimes you
down.
can't explain stuff, but it ain't anything that I don't play well in this stadium. No, that's not.
I like that. I think it was like maybe I think it was the third quarter in a huddle. They have Mike McDaniel talking to the team, the offense, and pointing to himself and saying, "I effed up." I like that he
Yeah.
owns up to that stuff. Like even the post game, he owned up to it. Tua owned up to it. Everyone's I love that he said, "We're not taking this lightly. We're not taking this lightly." Like you could tell
They shouldn't. They had the game. They could have won that game, dude. It was a 6-point game with a couple minutes left, and it got completely out of hand, and you played like crap. You play well, you win that game. You never give them the turnovers. You take the lead. This defense can play a little better with a lead.
exactly.
All of it would have been set up for them, but you play like crap and you don't hit open receivers. And this reminded me of the last 20 years of Dolphins football.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the quarterbacks that you normally saw. And to me, that wasn't Tua.
No,
But
no.
he's a human being. Like one guy was like freaking out. And I was like, yeah, how dare he, huh? Spoiled you with perfection, throwing 70% every week. My God, how does he not hold up to the same standard every week? Right, sir? Aren't you? Yes, you're insulted. Like, give me a break, dude. Like you make it sound like, Tua just replaced Marino and Marino had just replaced Johnny Unitas and Johnny Unitas, it's like, he's messing up everything come on, relax, bro. It's one game.
And you hit the nail on the head too with the defense too, because this defense plays different with a lead. And they didn't play, I'll say this, because I got on the defense while I was watching the game. They didn't play as bad as a lot of people are making it, but they didn't play too well, especially with Mr. Irrelevant doing whatever the hell he wanted to.
Yeah, he made a couple throws. The kid made, hey, but listen, man, sometimes talked about this in the postgame show. So we have certain Dolphin fans that wanted Skyler over Tua.
Yeah. Still do.
Still do. Okay, but you can talk up your own 7th rounder. But God forbid somebody else's 7th rounder actually played well. God forbid.
Oh my God.
No, Cater. I wonder if teams are saying, how did we not catch a pass on a Division II cornerback that did not actually, get drafted? I wonder if they're doing that too, because that's exactly what you sound like.
Mm-hmm.
No, he got on an NFL roster because he has NFL talent. So the front office, the coaching staff, whatever, they must see something in Brock or Cater. Who? I'm sorry. Let me do this properly. Darth
That's
Cater.
awesome.
Okay, I mean, come on, guys. Let's go. Give the kid some credit. All right, Brock Purdy played with composure. He made some throws. God bless him, dude. Maybe he's well coached. Looks like it. Sometimes people make plays and it sucks. But this whole thing about, we got beat by a 3rd stringer. Well, listen, last time I checked, that guy played better than anything I've ever seen from Trey Lance. Maybe
That's
Trey
true.
Lance was the 3rd stringer,
That's
and
true.
they just started the 3rd stringer because they had no choice because they traded 3 first-rounders for him. You know what I'm saying? But relax, take it easy. There are players that they come off the street and they play well. Brandon Shell. I wonder if people are saying, well, we didn't get a sack on a guy that came off the street the last couple weeks to play for the Dolphins. Come on, man. They're on a professional roster, something you and I could never accomplish because we're not gifted enough. Not even Brock Purdy gifted enough. So relax. The guy played out of his mind. Timmy Smith, youngins, go out there and look at it. I think he rushed for like 200 yards in the Super Bowl. He never did anything in the regular season. He never did anything after that game. But I'll never forget Timmy Smith for the Washington Redskins. In one Super Bowl, he made a name for himself. And nobody knew Timmy Smith outside of the people in his own house. That's it. Those are the only people that knew Timmy Smith. It happens, ladies and gentlemen. But if they pick them and they put them on a roster, it's because they must have some kind of skill set. So relax that you didn't. And here's the other thing I keep telling people. We got to reprogram ourselves. This is not a team that's going to be bailed out by the defense. This is a team that's going to be bailed out by its offense. And because the offense failed on Sunday, that's why they lost. The defense played well enough to win the game. You screwed up by giving them a couple of short fields. So they picked up 30 points. They picked up 10 dirty points, I believe, out of that, right? So it was 33 so it was 33-17, right? Let's go back to where it was, 23-17.
Without that last second, because Tua was trying to do something, he got hit, fumbled. That is what it is. But it was a very close game. They kicked 3 field goals in the second half. He didn't do anything in the second half.
Yeah, man. He made a couple throws. Give him credit. Kid came in, had composure, and he never looked like he was flustered.
No.
I was very impressed with that with Purdy. He never looked like he was flustered. By the way, did you notice that after the interception is when Brock Purdy just said, "What the F? Let's just let it fly." And it kind of broke the ice for him. Maybe the coaches probably told him, "Look, you see, you screwed up. You made it. Let's go. Let it rip. You can make a mistake. It happens. Move on." And it looked like he let himself go, and he became a little bit more comfortable and was able to make a couple of throws. And hey, man, God bless him. It happens. The problem was our guy didn't make the throws, really. That's all it was, dude.
And I pointed out, too, a lot of people want to forget what Brock Purdy has, right? Like, I'm pretty sure the 49ers have one of the best offensive lines in front of them. CMC, Ayuk,
running
Debo,
game, great receivers. Yeah, no, definitely.
Kittle, and Shanahan literally was like, "You're not going to have to do much. Listen, just throw it to the open guy. We're gonna have screens. We're gonna have quick outs. We're gonna have slants. Just don't force it, and our defense will take care of it." And that's
you see that guy in Tennessee try to do what he does.
But yeah, it was a game. I'm gonna say that because like you said, at one point marched down the field down by 6. It was we could have won. We could have won. It is what it is. It's one loss. You got to bounce back. You got 5 games left. Hey, we win the next 5 games, we could be the number 1 seed.
Yeah, dude, I'm not worried about it.
These next
they
5
lose
games,
they lose this week. I'm worried.
This is where and I said this, I think we talked about it last week. The 49ers game is a big game. It's a bragging rights game because we're facing another good team like us, but they're an NFC team. So it doesn't really impact our playoff hopes as much as the next 2 weeks against 2 AFC team. And if we beat the Bills, we're going to be in the driver's seat to be AFC's champions. The NFL is taking notice because now we have back-to-back primetime games.
It's nice to be sexy, right?
But what is your thoughts about having the Saturday night game? That kind of cuts our week a little short.
I know, but it's an honor, bro. It's an honor. We can't have it both ways. You know, like I'll give you an example. So I went back and forth with Dave Hyde today on the Sun Sentinel, right? And like in his article, talk to 5 guys. They all want Herbert, this, that, and whatever. And he's been a Herbert guy and an anti-Tua guy, all that stuff. He doesn't believe in Tua. But he left out the records, like Tua's 21-10, Herbert's 21-23. He left that out. I told him, hey, you kind of left out winning. Winning's really important for a quarterback, And you kind of left out the fourth quarter pick sixes in winning situations for Herbert, who has 4 of those already in his career. and Tua only has one, but it was in a winning cause against the Jets, right? And so I said, you left all that out. And he goes to me, well, winning isn't a stat for a quarterback. And I said, you can't have that both ways, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be having John Beck and Jay Fiedler and Ray Lucas and Ryan Tannehill and this and that. And then you say, oh my God, if Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas had a quarterback, they would be in the playoffs. Well, then that would require winning. Oh, okay. So if Ricky Williams is tearing ass and you say, damn, we didn't do anything with Ricky because we didn't have a quarterback. Oh, I'm sorry. That's winning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched the Dolphins for 17 years with Marino, and I watched them the last 20 years without Marino. What's the difference?
Winning.
The quarterback, dude. You give me an 80s, early 90s Marino with the Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas teams of the early 2000s. I got myself a Super Bowl or two.
Yeah.
So don't tell me you can't have it both ways, bro. You can't tell me you're unhappy that Brock Purdy played well when your Division II corner is kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't go that way.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the convenience of this argument. Okay? And you were comparing it to what was it right now? You were asking me?
Primetime game, short week.
Oh, the short week. Right. So it's the same thing. We can't ask for the last 20 years. Oh, dude, we're never on primetime. We're never on primetime. They never want the Dolphins. We never talk about the Dolphins. Well, guess what? Now they're talking about the Dolphins, and now they want you on primetime. Nobody's scheming against you, bro. This isn't QAnon or anything like that. Trying to, let's bring out the doll, the Tua doll. Let's just pin it as much as we can. And there's somebody doing some kind of seance or whatever, and let's move them to Saturday. It's you're a sexy team.
Mm.
They now own Saturdays
game.
with college football out. This is a sexy game. Let's play it, bro. Let's do it. And if you want to be the real deal, these are the things that you're going to have to deal with. And guess what? The good teams have been dealing with this kind of shit for years.
Yep.
We used to deal with that back in the day, but we didn't have Thursday games. We didn't have Sunday night games in those days. These are all features. Now, Saturday games. These are all things that have been added in the last couple of decades, which we weren't a part of back in the day with Marino in the 80s and the 90s. It was just simply Monday night or I think that's it. A playoffs. I don't even think there was a Sunday night game in those days. So now all of a sudden, we're talking, you got an opportunity to play on Saturday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. Man, it is what it is, dude. I'm sorry. It's you can't have it both ways. Just like Dave Hyde. You can't have it both ways, bro. Don't ever write an article ever again that you need a quarterback. And don't tell me that quarterbacks don't associate with winning. And I told them the last thing I said, would you be 8-4 with Teddy Bridgewater or Skylar Thompson? No. So then quarterbacks do affect winning. I get it that you can't correlate the stat exactly to what it is, but damn it, bro. You have a quarterback. Look at Bill Belichick. How's he doing without Tom Brady? Not going too well, right? How did Geno Smith do his entire career? Not too well, but hey, 2022 Geno Smith is a little different, right? Quarterback, bro. Quarterback changes everything. It gives you a chance. Now, are there times like Zach with the Jets that they were winning, but he wasn't doing anything? It was the rest of the team carrying him. He was a facilitator at best. Peyton Manning did it in 2016 with Denver. Are there aberrations? Are there certain cases
Dilfer,
Dilfer, that there's a quarterback that isn't really carrying you? Yes, of course. But there's reasons why that happens, and it's not common. It happens every once in a while with those kind of situations. But overall, you need a QB to win, dude, and win big and win, big games in the playoffs. So please don't ever tell me that winning doesn't associate with quarterback. That's just asinine in my book.
I always said that the win-loss record when it comes to quarterback play, it always depended if it fits someone's agenda. That's what I always said.
Yeah, true.
If Tua was, say, in the last 16 games he was 1 in 15, people would be using that. Well, they can't win with them. The players that reported that they can't win with them were right. They can't win with them. But it's the fact that he's 15-1. Now all of a sudden they're like, that's not that's a team sport, and they're
Right.
not wrong, but it's like it fits agendas essentially. But you hit the nail on the head. You want to be a playoff team, you want a deep run in the playoffs, you want to be a Super Bowl contender, you gotta win the games regardless of where they are and when they are. And this is the test. You beat San Diego.
I do it all the time too.
Can they just move back to San Diego? Like
I just think San Diego doesn't want Spanos back now. That's the problem now.
Get rid of him.
Yeah, we'll take you back, but Dean, you gotta stay far away from us, that kind of stuff.
But they got to beat these two teams, especially Buffalo. If they beat Buffalo in Buffalo at nighttime when it's going to be cold as hell, and if Tua has a good game, all of a sudden a lot of people got to shut up. Shut up. You got nothing anymore. He beat you. So they'll say though Von Miller wasn't there, so that's why.
Right, exactly.
Too cold. Instead of too hot now, the Bills fans will be like, it was too cold. That's why you won.
Meanwhile, they get to beat up on the Dolphins for the last 2 years when they have no talent around Tua, but that's all right. That's
funny how that works.
That's the way it goes. Tua already won one. We'll see if he can win two. But I feel good about this game, man. I really do. I feel good about this game, and it is a must win.
Yes, 100%.
You're the better team. You need to win. Hey, by the way, I said I felt good on Sunday. Well, you saw what Vegas said? Vegas put the Dolphins favored by 3. That's a 6-point swing. You're supposed to get 3 at home, no matter who you're facing. If it's even, you're supposed to get 3. If Miami's favored by 3, that means Vegas thinks they're 6 points good in this game. They also feel the same way. And so this is not the pressure that you're facing a great team. This is the pressure that you must erase what happened last week, because in the NFL, 1 week to another, you're either in the Super Bowl or you're in the cellar and the life is over. You know what I mean? Because we go to those extremes.
I said it when we were about to face the Texans. You change the perspective that I have as a Dolphin fan for the past 25 years, 30 years, that we play down to competition, right? We're better than the Chargers. Don't play down to them. Like we did to the Texans, went up by 30 by halftime, and then,
and
we
Browns.
had some guys.
And
exactly. Browns too. Don't play down to the competition. Play at your level. So, this is a must
get
win.
After Herbert, bro. You can force mistakes from that guy.
Oh yeah.
Get after him. Hit him. Okay, and that's one thing that. Okay, I can't kill the defense. They did enough to win this past week. But if there's something that I want to demand from that defense, is that the base front needs to be able to put, when you rush your regular 4 guys, those guys have got to find ways to pressure the quarterback, bro. It's got to be, you can't be blitzing too much because of that secondary.
Yep.
And that's where, I mean, look at X, bro. It's hard. He can't cover a crossing route anymore.
Well, the last thing I'll say is
those throwing injuries must stop him from all of that. And by the way, I guess nobody really thinks I'm that crazy when I said a year and a half ago to trade X at the peak. Whatever. Whatever.
But the funny thing is, what I heard, and again, this is rumors, is that they wanted to move on from Byron, and they wanted to go after J.C. Jackson.
They will move from Byron this offseason for sure.
Yeah. If post June 1st, it's $14 million savings. They'll probably designate it and they'll move on from him. But big game, like you said, Big O. What do you got going on the channel? Got anything fancy?
Well, help us make that push for 20,000. So please subscribe to the channel. We need your help to get to 20,000 subscribers. Big O Radio Show on YouTube. And of course, you can subscribe on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher. We podcast the show every day after it goes live. It goes live every day at 10 a.m. on YouTube. And we've got 4 exclusive Dolphin insiders tied to our program. So, and you can keep up with all of the South Florida sports, but obviously the main topic of conversation usually is the Miami Dolphins on the platform. But outside of that, we've got our regular guests all week long. We had Ian Rappaport on today and Matt Verderam, 2 of our usuals, and they do great work as always. So please check out the platform, Big O Radio Show, and please subscribe and help us get to 20,000 subscribers.
Go help my guy out. And Big O, I will see you next week after a big W against the Chargers.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hang in there, Dolphin Nation. Stay positive and don't listen to all that negativity. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.